Okay, today we're going to take a look at how to set up supervision and do supervised documents in CarePaths EHR. Now, in order to show this properly, we're going to need to switch back and forth between perspectives, meaning we're going to need to sign in and out as the supervisor and sign in and out as the supervisee. To help make it clear which perspective we're currently looking at, you can look at this little label in the top of the video here. You can see currently it's set to supervisor. So let's go ahead and jump in. To set up supervision, we're going to go to membership and we're going to go to groups. This is a new account, so we don't have any groups here yet. So we're going to go ahead and add a new group. We're going to label it Supervision Group 1, and then we're going to go ahead and add the name of the supervisor for clarity. Now you can name these groups whatever you like. This is just a good system that I like to keep track of which is which. So the supervisor for this group is going to be Jane Smith, who we're currently signed in as. Under type, we're going to change it from system to clinical for supervision groups. And then under supervisor, we're going to use this search box. Anytime there's a search box in CarePaths EHR, you're going to want to search by last name. So we're going to type in Smith here. We said we were going to use Jane Smith as the supervisor. So let's add that and click Create Group. Now to add the supervisees, we're going to go to Relationships, then Staff. Again, we're going to search here. And we're going to pick the other Smith. John Smith is going to be our supervisee. Now we're going to want to go to John's profile to make sure he's set up properly. We can go ahead and click right here. Or if we were in a different part of the app, we could go to Membership, Staff, and click on John Smith's profile. Now we're going to want to make sure that the build seat and seat type is set up properly. You can see John is set as a build seat and set as full-time. Under credentials, we're going to go to require supervision and make sure that's checked. Anytime you want to make updates to a staff profile, you're going to want to go ahead and just go down here and save staff before switching tabs. Okay, now we should have everything set up properly. So we're going to sign out as the supervisor and sign back in as the supervisee. All right, now that we're in the supervisee, we're going to go to one of our patients. We can search by last name here. Patient's name is Joe Test Patient. Let's go ahead and click on Joe. Go to the Services section. And we're going to create a new document. Let's do a clinician progress note. That's pretty common. Click Create New Document again after we've selected. And now you can see we have all of our options. We can edit whatever we like. And then down at the bottom, because the user we're currently signed in as is marked as requiring supervision, they don't have the option to sign and complete the document themselves. They only have this option, sign and send to supervisor. Now, if they're just working on this in draft form and they're not ready to pass it on to the supervisor yet, you can just click Save. And that's just going to keep the document in draft. It's not going to send it to the supervisor yet, and you can go back and edit it and save it as many times as needed until you're ready. Once it's ready to be reviewed by the supervisor, you're going to come down here. You're going to enter your password in this box, and you're going to click Sign and Send to Supervisor. All right, now we're going to sign out as the supervisee. We're going to sign back in as the supervisor. Now we're going to go to this clinical option in the top menu. We're going to click on Supervisors. This is going to list all documents that the current user is a supervisor for, based on those groups that we set up, that are ready to be reviewed by the supervisor. You can see in doc status it says reviewed by supervisee, meaning it's ready to be looked at by the supervisor. So we can click on that. And you'll notice this view looks a little bit different than it did from the supervisee. You have these options next to each field. If you click on this little icon, it's going to open this box where you can type in any notes that the supervisor needs to pass on to the supervisee. And you can make these as long as you need to. You can add as many different ones as you need to. And whenever it's ready, you can come down here and you can click Save. And it's going to give you this option. If you're still going to look at this more and make some more notes, you can just do Save Only. If you're ready to send it back to the supervisee for them to review your notes, you can click Save and Send. And if this document was ready to be completed, you don't have to go through this step of sending back and forth. The supervisor could just go straight in, put in their password, and click Sign and Complete to complete the document. But since we did send this back to the supervisee, we're going to sign out as the supervisor. I'm going to sign back in as the supervisee. Now we're going to go to our recent patients, go to Joe, go to Services, and you can see now under Status, this document says that it was reviewed by supervisor, meaning it's ready for the supervisee to look at it again. And you can see these notes the supervisor left here. These are read-only for the supervisee, so they can see them, but they can't edit them. So they can look through this, they can make any changes they need to, and whenever they're ready, they already signed, so they don't need to do that again. So they can just hit this Save button, and it's going to give this option again. If they want to leave it in its current status and not send it back to the supervisor yet, they can just hit Save Only. If they're ready for it to be reviewed by the supervisor again, they can go ahead and hit Save and Send. So let's go ahead and sign out as the supervisee and sign back in as the supervisor. And now we're going to go back to this clinical menu and supervisors. After we last sent the document back to the supervisee and it changed that status to reviewed by supervisor, when the document's in that status, it will not appear in this supervision list until the supervisee reviews it and sends it back to the supervisor. You can see this doc status is reviewed by supervisee, meaning they sent it to us for review. So let's go ahead and click on it. And if we look over this and decide that it needs more work, we can just repeat the process, send it back to the supervisee. But instead of doing that, let's say we think this is good, we're ready to complete the document. So we just go down here, we enter our password, hit Sign and Complete. And now we have our completed supervision document. You can see at the bottom there, it's got both signatures and should be all good to go for your claims. All right, that covers pretty much everything you need to know for the basics of using supervision in CarePaths. Thanks so much for watching.